watching UnrealEntGaming. This is Vegito, the prince of all Saiyans. Make sure you subscribe to UnrealEntGaming and push the like button for me.
Or else you'll be Hakai!
Not Beerus.
You know how this works. Make sure you enable all notifications on the channel and watch the entire video all the way through.
And don't forget to follow UnrealEntGaming on both Instagram and Twitter.
That's enough! On with the video.
As the ultimate battle now being waged between both father and son, the Grand Priest and Merno now continues to intensify, it would appear as though now Merno is beginning to get his comeuppings as the Grand Priest looks to inflict as much physical punishment to Merno as he can, while at the same time trying to do a bit of soul searching in seeing if the Merno of old was still trapped within, as the very essence of life now hangs in the balance. The million-dollar question going forward is, will the Grand Priest be able to somehow in some kind of way beat Merno into submission in allowing for him to accept and admit his faults as an angel, or is Merno simply going to risk it all and do everything and anything he can to see that everyone dies for good? Now, before we dive any further into this video, if you are new to the channel and of course have a love and passion for all things Dragon Ball related, including its manga, anime, video games, fan animations, fan mangas, and more, in which would also like to be kept up to date with everything in regards to the Dragon Ball Super manga, the Dragon Ball Super anime, Dragon Ball video games, and any and all additional content within the Dragon Ball universe, then I do encourage you guys to head on over and smash that subscribe button and turn on all notifications by clicking on the bell icon to always be notified whenever a brand new video is posted onto the channel, as well as giving this video a big thumbs up by slapping that like button down below if you guys are simply excited to see what the future holds for the Dragon Ball franchise. And with all that being said, I want to thank you all so much for your time, thank you all so much for supporting the channel, and now let's dive straight into the video. As our story continues with the original Merno being shown having to create multiple clones in surrounding him, in now taking aim in wanting to inflict as much physical damage to the Grand Priest as possible, it was only during this moment where Merno went on to comment, "You know, I find your calm and collected demeanor to be rather fascinating during these dark times that you face. I wonder if that's because you are preparing yourself for the inevitable. You won't get very far against me," Merno says. "That I can assure you," as the Grand Priest responds, "Your arrogance continues to blind you from the truth. You will refrain from targeting the others and you will focus your attention towards me. So don't try it, Merno," with Merno responding, "A little nervous, are we? We'll see what the outcome has in store for us. You are more important to me now than those worms are anyway. Now then," Merno adds, "destroy him." As all of a sudden during this moment, all of Merno's clones had then taken initiative in making their way towards the Grand Priest, as Kefla went on to respond, "Everyone look, are those clones? He still has the ability to clone himself?" As Margarita went on to respond, "It's one of Merno's trademark techniques, which is what makes him such a difficult opponent to go up against. The Grand Priest is outnumbered out there." As one of the clones made his way in, as the Grand Priest went on to defend himself, it was only right then and there where all of Merno's clones were then shown jumping the Grand Priest, as Android 35 went on to chime in, "But can the Grand Priest hold off against them? There are dozens of them up there, we can't just stand around and watch this." As with all of the Merno clones then shown having to attack the Grand Priest in jumping him at the same time, the original Merno went on to take a step back and having to observe the overall situation by responding, "That's right, that's the way, smash him until there is nothing left. Show him your pain, beat him into submission until he begs for his life. How does it feel knowing that you can't win, Minister? Does it anger you knowing that you've been surpassed by a superior angel? That's right, my mighty army, crush him. Beat him until he is barely breathing and then bring him over to me. Annihilate him," he adds. "We can't just stand here and watch this happen," Jiren adds. "I refuse to wait around while our lives hang in the balance. The Grand Priest is outnumbered and he needs our help. We've got to fight even if we die. Jiren adds. I won't stand for it, but before Jiren can go and make his move, Whis went on to stick his arm out by stopping Jiren and telling him, Warrior of the 11th, you will wait. Although outnumbered, the Grand Priest knows exactly what he's doing. Until he calls for it, we will wait, Whis says. As all the while when going back to all of the clones being shown attacking the Grand Priest, we then see how Merno had picked up on something in noticing something very unusual among the dog pile, as Merno went on to add, he's unaffected. What is that snake up to? There's no way he's not damaged by their attacks. But then, through the mosh pit, we then see how the Grand Priest had then taken it upon himself in dashing towards the original by shouting, that's enough! To where as soon as the Grand Priest was then shown having to punch Merno in the face in creating a massive shockwave in space, that's when the Grand Priest went on to tell him, you will not be allowed to progress any further with your madness. You are to experience what those who stood across from you had to experience before you are destroyed for good. To where once more, as soon as we then get to see how all of reality around Merno is then beginning to get shattered, as Merno's body was sent crashing through multiple dimensions, Beerus went on to add, I can't believe what I'm seeing. The Grand Priest is truly something else, Whis. Despite facing overwhelming odds, he isn't cracking under the pressure against Merno. How does he do it, Whis? What is the true depth of his power? With Whis responding, the Grand Priest has only ever showcased his true power on 2 separate occasions. Once being when Merno had graduated in becoming the Grand Angel among our race, and once when he was forced into casting Merno out after learning of his true intentions of multiversal genocide. As powerful and as dangerous as the Grand Priest is, he does not wish to inflict any harm on any of the universes while battling Merno. He is very careful with his actions as he does not wish to destroy all of reality in the process. I truly wish that it had never come down to this, Whis adds, but Merno has brought this war onto himself. As with Merno's body still shown having to crash through several different dimensions, Beerus then went on to ask, so, then it's over, right? Merno doesn't have a chance if what you are saying is true, right, Whis? As Whis responds, I would like to hope so, but I still have a bad feeling about this. We will see, Whis says. As with the Grand Priest then having to oversee how Merno's clones were then disappearing, he then went on to add, this would have worked on anyone else if you tried this tactic against them, but let's not forget I was the one who taught you what you know. Which interestingly enough, as the Grand Priest went on to look on down, in noticing the massive spirit bomb beneath him, the Grand Priest then went on to add, the mortal spirit bomb has appeared to have stopped collecting energy from the 7th. Perhaps this could be useful against Merno after all, but with the amount of power that it has, it won't be enough, the Grand Priest says. They were reserving this in case I fell in battle, but it doesn't need to be saved if they intend to use it, he says. To where out of nowhere, as soon as the Grand Priest had then gone in making his way and appearing in front of Vegito, in being taken back by the sudden appearance of the Grand Priest then went on to add, Mortal Saiyan Vegito. This technique of yours is surely very impressive. Well done on collecting Universe 7's energy. Hey, thank you, Vegito says. But as strong as this is, I don't think it'll be enough to destroy him, as the Grand Priest responds, oh yes, I know, which is why I have come to tell you that you will be collecting more energy to grow this spirit bomb of yours larger. Wait, what? But how, Vegito asks? Why create something if you don't intend to use it, am I right? You will gather energy from across the multiverse to aid you, the Grand Priest says. I promised the Omni Kings a great battle, and I intend to keep my end of the deal. Although you will not launch the bomb until I give you the order, do you understand? You are to wait on my signal to do so. To whereas we then see how Merno's body is continuing to travel through different dimensions, Merno went on to break his fall in grabbing onto his face by responding, I knew it. He was watching my battles with the others very closely, so he already expected for me to use clones against him. I've had enough of this, Merno says. He isn't fighting to kill me, otherwise he would use more of his true power that I remembered. So what's he trying to do? As we then go back to the Omni Kings, who seemingly cannot contain their excitement, the Omni Kings went on to acknowledge each other by commenting, have you ever seen a fight this good? I can't believe it. I hope that they could fight forever, says the second Omni King. This is so awesome. I wonder who will win, as the Grand Priest went on to chime in by acknowledging them and responding, well, I am very happy that you are getting as much entertainment out of this as possible, sires, but I do believe it is time that we bring this battle with Merno to a close before things get out of hand. Just sit and watch, as an angry Merno chimes in, this isn't a game. Now I'm mad. Now you've done it. Do we have an understanding, mortal, the Grand Priest asks, as Vegito responds, yeah, I understand. So how are we doing this? I've never drawn energy from other universes before, as the Grand Priest responds, that I will leave in the hands of the angels below. In the meantime, he adds, I know that wherever Merno may be, he is certainly not finished. Not by a long shot, he adds, and I know that he will do whatever it takes to win. Gather as much power as you can and hold nothing back. We've lost too much to turn back or give up now, the Grand Priest adds. This battle is far from over, which is why you must remain where you are until you are needed. I want to see them fight some more, says one of the Omni Kings. Pow, pow! Me too, says the second Omni King. This is so much more intense than the Tournament of Power we held. But it was only during that moment where the Grand Priest went on to feel something, as through the portal we then get to see how there was a silhouette of Merno having to be shown stepping on through, in which as he did, Merno went on to address the Grand Priest by telling him, I hope you weren't celebrating prematurely knowing what you already know in your heart, coward. You think this is all I have? Do you truly believe that you've won? You'd be dreaming to believe such things, Snake. I'm far from being beaten. You should know that better than anyone. I should have known you were holding back for a reason. It was to give those rotten pests a show now, was it? So that was your agreement. Well, show's over, Merno shouts. It's time I do what I should have done earlier, and that's slaughter everyone around you, Merno shouts. You haven't beaten me. You're not even close, you fool. Think you can save them? Well, just try, Merno shouts. To where as soon as Merno had then gone and firing multiple blasts down upon everyone, it was the Grand Priest who then went on to take immediate action in swiping away and deflecting each and every single one of Merno's blasts, as with both of the Omni Kings once again trying to do their best in containing their excitement, the Omni Kings then went on to shout, wow, look at all of those energy attacks, there's so many of them. I know, says the second Omni King, he tried attacking the others but the Grand Priest stopped it. But it was during this moment where Merno had gone and shifting his focus now directly at the Omni Kings, with a sadistic, evil, and sinister smile now on his face, Merno had then gone and raising his arm and pointing it directly at them, as Merno went on to comment, but how could I ever forget about you, little worms? You are the reason why all of this even started. It was your judgment call that led to my exile. Throw me out, will you? I've waited generations to see this day through. Here, I owe you, Merno says. As even then with both of the Omni Guards very shocked by what Merno had said, the Omni Guards went on to comment, he's aiming right for them. Quickly, we must protect them, says the second Omni Guard. The Kings, the Grand Priest shouts, as Merno then did not waste a single second in firing multiple energy blasts down at the Omni Kings by shouting, die you miserable little Omni brats! Which fortunately enough, before Merno's blast had actually made contact, both Omni Guards were then shown having to create multiple layers of barriers to protect them. As a hailstorm of energy blasts were then shown raining upon them, that's when the Omni Guards went on to comment, hold the barrier no matter what! We must not let those blasts strike them! Oh wow, says one of the Omni Kings, this is so cool! Look at all of these barriers! Wait, are those blasts meant for us? As with Merno's blasts now slowly but surely now beginning to penetrate each and every single layer of the Omni Guard's barrier, the Omni Guards quickly went on to take notice of this as they went on to further comment, the shields are starting to break! We're losing each layer, we must hold! Do not let them break! His attacks are too strong, says the second Omni Guard. Hold the line, do not let him cross! As Merno appears to be having the time of his life because he knows in a matter of moments that the Omni Guard's barriers will in fact actually shatter, with the blast having to then make contact, as Merno went on to respond, what's the matter, slaves? Are my attacks a little too strong for your pathetic barrier to protect? That's right, one by one they will break. And then I will kill the two of them as I should have done a very long time ago when I had the chance. Are you starting to remember me now, little worms? Merno asks. I'm going to rip you both apart. It's only going to be a matter of time before those barriers break, and when they do, the two of you are going to die. But then, before Merno could even finish in executing his mission in having to fire down upon the Omni Kings, it was only right then and there where out of nowhere, the Grand Priest went on to punch Merno Merno in the face by shouting, "You will not harm them!" To where as soon as the Grand Priest was shown having to knock Merno away, the Grand Priest had then redirected his focus at the Omni Guards by telling them, "Guards, no matter what happens, do not allow for him to get within the Omni King's vicinity." You truly think you have me all figured out, don't you, Merno asks. Well, now you are about to find out how wrong you truly are. Now witness a power that you haven't seen since the early days of my ascension. I'm about to show you the very power you feared eons ago. A rare sight to behold indeed. No more games, Merno says. No more holding back. No more! No more! Merno shouts, to where it was during this moment where out of nowhere Merno then began to power up in such an intense way that everyone now began to take notice as Vados went on to respond, "Oh no, Merno, don't! It's just as I feared, Whis. We were right," as Kefla asks, "What's happening? What's he about to do?" with Vados responding, "This is my brother's true power brought forth onto the surface." And with Merno shown powering up in such an intense way that it only then had gone in creating a massive and powerful wind force that went on to rock everything around Merno, with both of the Omni Guards once again shown creating a barrier and protecting the Omni Kings. That's when the Omni Kings went on to ask, "Are you seeing this? What incredible energy! I remember this feeling from somewhere. He looks very scary, much meaner than he was a minute ago. I think he's about to use his full power. This is so intense." With the second Omni King asking, "Is the Grand Priest going to stop him? What if Merno beats him now? Do you think he will lose?" "I don't know," says the first Omni King, "but I don't like this feeling," as within that moment, one of the Omni Guards went on to respond, "Hold the barriers no matter what. The fallen angel is using his full power." As with all of the other angels then shown having to protect everybody else by creating barriers, that's when Beerus went on to ask, "Is it true, Whis? Is he really about to unleash his full power against the Grand Priest?" As Whis responds, "I'm afraid he is, yes. This is what we remember Merno best for before he was exiled. The power which you are all about to see was the same power that rivaled the Grand Priests at one point. It was why Merno was appointed in becoming the Grand Angel and next in line to take the role as the Grand Priest one day. Should we attack him now before he completes his transformation?" Golden Majin Buu asks, with Jiren responding, "That won't work." "Do you guys feel how dense the air has become?" Android 35 asks. "It feels like the entire atmosphere is changing around us," as even Vegito went on to respond, "God, what power! I've got to hold this spirit bomb from breaking loose. Ugh, what a mess." So this is Merno's true power, is it? As indeed it was, because Merno's transformation from there was so intense that not only did he go as far as to blow off his entire shirt, but Merno seemingly enough had also appeared as though he was gaining muscle mass, as Beerus went on to respond, "Damn it, great! As if he wasn't impossible to beat before, now he's going to use his true power in battle. What else is this fiend hiding that we don't know about?" As Whis went on to ask, "What do you think, Vados? I assume that Merno was at least close to using his true power in battle before, but I had no idea he was hiding this much power from us. Do you think we should intervene despite our father's wishes?" I did not expect for Merno to go this far, as Vados responds, "I don't think it's wise to get in between their battle without the Grand Priests calling for it. We must assist the mortals here in the meantime. Did you overhear what was said to Vegito? We have other duties to attend to as they fight." As with Merno shown continuing to power up in a very ferocious way, that's when Whis went on to chime in by responding, "Merno's power is channeling across the multiverse. Every universe is touched by his presence. It was one of his most impressive attributes when he was with us. I just hope he isn't as difficult to take down as I assume he'd be. But the Grand Minister is not without great resolve either," Whis says. "Every single one of his actions are calculated with accuracy," with Vados chiming in the meantime, we are to assist Vegito with his spirit bomb. It's clear to me now that the Grand Priest intends on using it at some point. Merno's power may be felt across every dimension and universe, but we are not without fighting him until the end," she says. "While the others safeguard their worlds, we will do what we must to borrow energy from across the multiverse in order for this to work." "Oh, this is insane," Vegito says. "So we never truly stood a chance against him to begin with. If anything," he went on to add, "we were fighting him at his base level the entire time, and he still made it all look too easy. We can't stop now," Vegito adds. "We've come too far. Even if if he's at full power, we have to try. I feared this would happen, the Grand Priest says, but I had a feeling there was much more to you than meets the eye. The forbidden level of the angels. I remember this power of yours, the Grand Priest adds. You didn't have to do this, Merno. Why let yourself be consumed with such hatred and rage? Why do you refuse to take accountability for your actions and accept your punishment? Why go this far, the Grand Priest asks, as lo and behold, finally, in front of everybody, this was the true Merno. This was Merno in all his glory, in finally now revealing the true depths of his power, as Merno went on to respond, because you were the one who agreed to have me be ripped away from my rightful place as God. You were the one who led the charge against me. You were the one who brought my actions forth to those ridiculous children in power. And now this, which you see, is the result of my anger. This is the physical manifestation of the hatred I have boiling inside of me. This is the power that I know you once feared, brought forth onto the surface. Your pathetic rules and sanctions, your ridiculous laws and restrictions, they mean nothing and meant nothing to me. Such things were meant to enslave, not liberate. I wasn't suited to be the grand angel of only a few. I was born to become the ultimate God King, the supreme ruler of both life and death. And now, Merno continues, you will meet your end. I've waited a millennia for this moment. Here, before you, I give you my all. His power's mind-boggling, Beerus adds. It's as though even gravity itself has become heavier from this transformation. So this is his true and absolute power, Beerus asks? Vados, it happened, Whis says. He's really done it. I'm trembling, Whis, Vados responds. We must act to aid the mortals quickly. There's no telling what's going to happen now, as out of nowhere, before you know it, Merno had meant every bit of what he just said, because as he was then shown making his way towards the Grand Priest, with even the Grand Priest himself being taken back by Merno's tremendously increased speed level, that's when Merno went on to shout, "No more tricks, no more games, give me your head." To where as soon as the Grand Priest had attempted in striking Merno, it was only then evident where the Grand Priest's arm had then gone fully through him, in being totally taken back by surprise, as Merno went on to tell the Grand Priest, "Oh no, this will not be as easy as you think it will." My hand went right through him, an evasive hologram counter, but then, before the Grand Priest could even react, Merno had then gone in, punching the Grand Priest square in the stomach by telling him, "You fell right into my trap, just as I thought you would." Can you feel that? Does it happen to bring back painful memories, Merno asks? Come here, I'm far from finished with you. And as soon as Merno had then grabbed the Grand Priest by the face, in them being shown having to drive his body down onto the ground and making contact with the floor, the others could not seem to believe as to what was going on, as Kefla went on to ask, "What the hell just happened? Was anyone else able to follow what just happened?" As Vados went on to respond, "I couldn't follow it either. Merno must have moved by using speed that is far beyond what our eyes can see. It almost appeared as though they were both standing still." As with Merno then being shown having to be placed on top of the Grand Priest, in pinning the Grand Priest's face down on the ground by smashing him ever so closer into the dirt, that's when Merno went on to ask him, "What happened? Where did your mighty power go? Does it hurt? It should, because this was the pain that I had to feel when you stabbed me in the back. I'm going to punish you the way you had punished me. Tell me something. Should I go on and smash your skull into the ground, or should I blow you into a million pieces? You are no longer in control. You will no longer haunt my soul with your acts of self-righteousness. Do you want to know what I'm going to do first once I destroy everything?" Merno asks. "I'm going to create a new race of angels, ones who will bend to my every command, ones who will have the freedom to do as they choose without the rule of law to stop them. My own personal angelic slaves, he adds. Then I will drink the blood of every single existing mortal that's kept alive as my entertainment. Why? Because they are beneath me. I was created before them. I came first, not them. I will rule with an iron fist, and there will be nothing and no one in this or any other world that will stop me. As we only then notice how the Omni Kings are becoming very alarmed by the overall situation, that's when the Omni Kings went on to chime in by responding, hey, he said he wants to become like me? He wants to rule everything and kill everyone as the Omni King? I'm starting not to like watching him fight anymore, says the second Omni King. He's looking right at us, as indeed Merno was, because while pinning the Grand Priest on the floor, that's when Merno went on to turn around by acknowledging the Omni Kings and telling them, and the two of you, what brain-dead excuses for leaders. Your guards won't last very long once I'm done ripping this fool below me apart. I want you to remember something, little worms. You are no warriors, which means you can only do so much to defend yourselves against me. I'm going to erase the two of you, take my rightful place as king, and use the Super Dragon Balls to bend existence to my will. And there is nothing that you or any of those other weaklings watching that can stop me from achieving it. To whereas with full-powered Merno then being shown having to hold the Grand Priest down by the face, it was only then during that moment where the Beyond Dragon Ball Super story of Merno vs. the Multiverse manga chapter number 33 special then comes to a close. Now this is it. Merno is now finally using his full power in bringing everything out onto the surface, in essentially getting tired of being ragdolled by the Grand Priest, as of course the Grand Priest had mentioned that he's not only going as far as to humiliate Merno by also putting on a show for the Omni Kings, but he also wants to teach Merno a lesson by beating some sense into him first, before going as far as to finish him off once and for all, which we now know that Merno is getting absolutely desperate in doing everything that he possibly can in order to get ahead, which ultimately now begs the million-dollar question, as with Merno now using his full power, is this going to be it? Is Merno simply going to follow through with his plan and see things through by wiping out everything and everyone as we know it, or are we somehow going to see somewhat of a counter by our heroes in finally putting Merno in his place? As we are currently working on the next manga chapter, which is that of manga chapter number 34, which should be available on the channel as soon as we end up smashing our like goal, to where I need you all to come together with me right now to meet our like goal, to which in order for us to get to the next manga chapter, our like goal is going to be 25,000 likes. A very simple like goal to achieve. It's simple, it's easy, and more importantly, it's free, because all you guys really have to do is simply take the time by scrolling on down below and give this video a big fat thumbs up right now by smashing that like button down below, and that's essentially it. So as of right now, there are only a few chapters left, and the way this is going to go is really going to shock you guys, so I can't wait for us to go into the final moments of this entire story together, because it's been a long time coming. We've been through so much involving the Merno character, and the way this is going to go is really going to be exciting. So again, thank you all so much for your time, thank you all so much for watching, and thank you all so much for your patience. Tune back in for more. If you guys are new to the channel, of course, be sure to go on ahead and hit that subscribe button and turn on all notifications by clicking on the bell icon. That way, of course, you guys never miss a single video posted on the channel. Tune back in for more, and I'll be seeing you all down in the comment section below and in the next video. Take it easy, guys, and have a great day. Peace.
Hello. Did you know that you can stay up to date with the latest Dragon Ball content by simply subscribing to UnrealEntGaming?
Also, don't forget to follow on these social media platforms, you sexy son of a bitch.
Roshi.
Silent Cell, me and the fans are having a moment. That's right. I know what you want. Extra long, thick Dragon Ball content. Quality reviews with flawless editing. Yeah, you like that, wouldn't you? You dirty bitch.
Roshi, the fuck?
God damn it, I need them to subscribe, Cell.
And we're demonetized.
Yeah, screw it. Let's cut to the video.